Hello, everyone. I am Roswell Roy Slory. Welcome to Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Seriously, that guy who's like clapping like nonstop, I gotta give him like a big hello. I have no idea who he is, but he did a great job clapping. But anyway, welcome to the summer edition of Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata, live with members from Cool Folks from all over the world. Yes, we are going live this entire summer with our members from all around the world so we can learn a little bit more about them. I know about them. Do you guys know about them? Let's find out more about them. What do they do when they're not dancing? What are their hobbies? What challenges do they face? How do they spend their free time with their family and their friends? So I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I read their postings and stuff, but let's find out a little bit more about them. So we continue summer interviews today with the magnificent Ricky Jenkins. She's in Alabama. I met Ricky recently when I used to live in Atlanta a few months ago at the Atlanta Bachata Salsa Fest. And it was an honor and a pleasure and a blessing to meet this young man. He's very sincere, he's very loyal, he's truly professional. And I'm just sad that I never met him earlier, but I had the opportunity to meet him. Actually, he came up to me. That tells you how brave he is and how brave I am. He comes up to me, he's like, Roswell, hey. I'm like, oh my God, who are you? Ricky's. So he's very, he's like the nephew I've always wanted to have. I mean, sorry, I already got like so many nephews. I love them, but a fifth nephew would be okay. So Ricky, we're gonna bring you on in a few minutes. We're gonna talk about some stuff. Okay. Couple quick announcements. Um, we're gonna go live with Kelvin tomorrow. Okay, and next week we're gonna continue our last week of the summer interviews. We're gonna meet with Jonathan Amaya. We're gonna meet with Tabitha. We're gonna meet with Maria. I'm gonna meet with Jimmy Boo. Then I'm going to take a vacation for 1 month. It's August. I haven't done anything this summer. So my mom is like, spend some time with me, son. So the entire month of August, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. One of the places I'm going to go to is DC. Lee has been very nice enough to offer discount tickets to members of Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata who are planning to attend the DCBX event this August. If you guys don't have the code, let me know and I'll still be happy to share that with you. All right. Thank you, Lee, for offering that discount to each and every member. I appreciate it. Our good friends, Central Movement, are having their weekender event, the first weekend in August, right here in New York City. So I'm happy to, it's good to be back in New York, you know. So I'll be attending that event. So if you guys are in New York City, come on out. If you guys are in New Jersey, my good friend Jonathan Amaya is having his weekender event. Okay, so go on out to that. Wendy and Rodrigo are having their event in Charlotte that same weekend. There's so many events going on in August. Oh my God. Oh, Melody and Miguel, they're going to have their Rasa event in Arkansas. I'm looking forward to that. It's my first time going to Arkansas and I'm excited. And obviously, the fabulous Denver Bachata Festival. Oh, and the list goes on and on and on for August. So I got a lot of running around to do, a lot of events to do, and I look forward to meeting you guys at least one of those events. Okay? Big announcements. September is around the corner, and that means that this is going to be a permanent thing now. So I'm going to go live not only with cool folks who love to bachata, but cool folks from all over the world, attorneys, physicians, promoters, you name it, even probably the mailman. I want them to talk to you guys about how their knowledge and their skills can better help the dance world. And I'm also going to continue interviews with additional members from Cool Folks, and I'm going to bring back some of you guys to come back with me to talk again, and tell everyone more about your events. All right. So I'm going to continue reaching out to each and every one of you during the month of August to invite you to see if you would like to go live with me. It's not mandatory, okay? It's optional. So please feel free to continue doing what you're doing, posting your stuff. And interviews are not for everyone, but so don't feel you have to do it, okay, guys? So, but it's optional if you want. All right. Okay. If everyone wants to notice, what's going on back here. There's a lot of grass back here. That's my backyard. Yes, I'm back home. I'm here in Wayne, New Jersey, and this is my backyard, my house. The sun is still out. Okay, so yeah, and the grass just got cut, so that's good because allergy season. So I'm out here doing my interview for a few minutes. There's a lot of mosquitoes around me, and if they begin like biting on me, I'm gonna have to run back inside. So let's see how far I can manage outside. Okay, so I'm here, and I'm super blessed, and I'm super happy to be with Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, hola.
What's going on? You call me Mr.
How are
Jenkins,
you,
all
sir?
that stuff. So, I'm good. I'm
How
good.
are you?
Not too
How
much.
are you?
Um,
I'm looking at it. You remind me of a young Obama. You're sitting back there, what looked like the White House, the president's chair, and I like that
nah,
the picture back there. It's like, and I mean, you just look so, like White House type of guy. You know, so so
just a real chill time. That's all. Nothing too crazy in the background. I got some posters. I got a basketball jersey up. Just a few things, but nothing too crazy. Otherwise, just me being me.
uh-huh. Wonderful, wonderful. Sir, you are fortunate today because it's beautiful outside. Instead of locking myself up in my house to do interviews, I decided to do your interview outside, while the sun is still out, but I'll try my best to talk with you while these mosquitoes are slowly creeping up my legs here. So they're not bachata dancers, I can tell. But
Yeah.
anyway, mosquito, go away. Just give me an hour. Anyway, uh, hola everyone. Okay, Mr. Jenkins, can you tell people a little bit about you, please? And
Um.
one thing before you start.
No, go
I
ahead.
just want to remind everyone. Yes, number one, I'm a senior citizen, so I could barely, I can't hear that well, but I'm also partially deaf in this era. As everyone knows, a year ago during the COVID, some people lost their sense of smell, their taste. COVID did work on my ear. So it's kind of difficult for me like to listen sometimes when people speak, especially now I'm outside because there's a lot of traffic. So I'm going to ask Mr. Jenkins to do his best to pretend this is military school and be like, Roswell, I did. Okay, so he's going to have to, be Lieutenant Jenkins. Okay,
All
so
right.
take it away, Mr. Jenkins. Tell everyone a little bit about you, please.
Um. I was born and raised in the state of Alabama, pretty much my whole life in a small town called Andalusia, which is about 3.5, 4 hours south of here, give or take. Biggest thing when I graduated high school was just I wanted to make sure that I was still close enough to my family, but I could still get out of the city. So that's basically what that came to. And I was fortunate enough to be able to find Huntsville as a place to be able to go for the next decade plus since I've been here. I got here fall 2010, and I've been here pretty much ever since then. Obviously, in that time frame, I've also picked up a love of salsa and bachata dancing, and that's been an ongoing thing for about 9 years. It'll be 10 next year, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to teach during that time frame as well, and had a chance to do a lot of different things with this wonderful thing that we call dance in terms of just going out to different socials and being able to travel and meeting so many new exciting people and things like that. It's truly been a blessing just to be able to kind of be in the spot that I'm in right now and know who I know. And like I said, going on 10 years of dancing, and I'm glad to continue to do this for as long as I can until my legs give out on me. And even then, I'll probably still be finding ways to do some type of dance. So,
Well, this is what caught my attention about you, right? Before I met you, um, last year at the 2022 Bachata Salsa Festival in Atlanta, you shared one of your postings,
right.
a video you shared, of one of your workshops.
Hmm.
So even before I met you, I said this guy's talented. He's very smart. He's very focused. He's a role model to all the young guys and the older guys. So I said, when I come down to Atlanta, as you know, I moved to Atlanta
Right.
this past November, and I said, I just got to meet you. That's one of my promises a year ago, and we met. So this is the video, and I'm going to share this with everyone. This is the video that uh, that caught my attention. Let me just share it with everyone. Hold on for a second, please. Okay. Okay, let's see. Da, 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 da. Bear with me for 1 second, my friend. Okay, here it is. Okay, check out this video. I like this. Okay, wow. I like how you move in style. Like you take your time.
I will say one of the biggest things that I love about this, well, I'll talk about it a little bit afterwards, but I was able to kind of just chill before the actual drop of the music hit. But I'll get more into that here in a little bit, though.
And you're going like in steps. Like you're doing it in a sequence. It's okay. Wow. Okay. Ooh. I love that turn. I love that turn. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. So let me ask you a let me ask you a quick question. Let me sorry.
No,
Let me ask you a quick question. You're you're a role model at then and there. People are looking at you. You know. So what goes on in your head? Like for me, for example, I'm super shy. Believe it or not. When I'm dancing, I'm always like concerned about what other people are thinking, what are they looking, what are they saying. It's like I cannot do something like what you do because I'm too self-centered. I'm too like, oh my god, what if there's a booger in my nose or something? You know what I'm
right.
saying? So you're focused. You're like, it doesn't matter if God is there. You're still doing what you got to do. So God or Jesus or one of them. So, what goes on in your head, like in a setting like that? Like you're there, everyone is dependent on you. Like, what are some thoughts? Like, what are some scary stuff? Like, do you think that maybe, oh no, what if my shoelace opens, or what if the fire alarm goes on in the middle of while I'm turning? Like, how do you prepare yourself for the unexpected? When you're people are looking up to you and stuff. So, like, what thoughts are going on in your head, man?
I will say in some situations, going back to that video you just showed, that was the first opportunity that I got to teach a workshop at a festival, and I actually made whether you want to call it a proclamation, a manifestation, what have you. I think the year prior in 2021, I said in the next 2 years, I was going to be teaching at a festival and putting together a routine of my own for people to see. And then you fast forward that following year in 2022, and I was luckily enough, Eric Ordonez, who was one of the promoters with ASBF, so shout out to him for even being able to give me that opportunity in the first place. Said, hey, giving you an opportunity, you want to teach at ASBF. And in the back of my mind, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I had to withdraw all my excitement at that moment because I'm like, is this really happening? Did he really just say this? Like, what's going on here? So in the back of my mind, as he's telling me this, I'm sitting here just like freaking out, going crazy. And in the months leading up to that workshop, I'm sitting here trying to go over every little thing, just trying to be meticulous about this step and that step and all this other stuff, just trying to make sure I have everything ready to go. And even as I'm doing this prior going into it, I'm talking to a lot of my friends and everything else, and they're saying, you're going to be doing great. You got this. While I will say the perfectionist in me was trying to make sure that everything went right, while at the same time realizing that at any given moment something can happen. So I'm just like, you got to prepare yourself for whatever. And kind of going with like what you were asking, there are some situations where I'm just like, I just kind of have to roll with the punches regardless of what may happen. You were asking like what happened if my shoestring was untied. I made it a point to make sure that my shoe was like double knotted up and tied to make sure that didn't happen. But even in some settings, like you got to think about it, like because you're doing a workshop and you're going over the same moves constantly, like again and again and again, making sure that you're good and ready to go. And even in that setting, it was like nerve wracking for me. Like when I got down on the floor and everybody was like actually filming and things like that. So what a lot of people didn't at this point they probably do, but like at that point, like as I'm on the stage, like I kind of felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders because I'm like I'm in my element. I'm just all it is just dancing. You're just coming up with something intricate for people to learn. And having had the chance to do that, it was like um, a new exploration for me because I'd never gotten the opportunity to do something like that before. And even in doing it, I was just like, you got to realize how many people have done this before you in just that opportunity. Like, there's a lot of places you've been, people you've seen that have been able to do workshops and stuff. Not everybody's fortunate enough to be able to do that. And the fact that I was able to, I'm extremely thankful for it and having been given the opportunity to do so. But you kind of have to keep that mindset. It's like, whatever happens is going to happen and just you have to prepare yourself for anything. So it's like if a fire alarm's going off in the middle of it, I'm just like, do I stop or do I keep going? I'm like, I'll just finish it out until otherwise and then probably get out at that point. But it being you talk about being an inspiration and a role model. I never necessarily saw myself as that in the dance world, but in the I say short time I've been doing it. I've been doing it almost 10 years, so that's anything but a short time amount. But in the time that I've been doing it, I've been getting a lot of praise and you know compliments from people just talking. It's like, hey, I really appreciate what you do, and like I said, you look as if you're going to be doing great things and stuff like that. And then even going with this set of footwork stuff that I've done, it's kind of led me down another path as well, just to be able to kind of explore different things in terms of like just more footworks and kind of pushing myself to see what else can I learn, um, what more can I do to push myself to continue to get better and better every day.
Yeah, yeah. While you're talking, the thing I'm thinking about, like, what if what if you ask me, hey, Roswell, can you just fill in for me? I'm like, sure. And then all of a sudden, I get super nervous, and there I am, dripping. And they're like, "What about my pants?" So no, seriously, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about possible mishap. What happens? Something like that happened. Like what? Like I just can't like stop and say, everyone, I got to go urinate and come back. Like hold it. Like, and then all of a sudden, whoop, oh, place is flooded. So that's my concern.
Right.
So I don't know. So I think that's what makes you guys professional, and why I respect what you guys do, because I just want everyone to understand that for you guys to actually stand there and to be focused and mature and professional, three things rolled in one. You can't go to school for that. You can't even get a doctoral degree in that. It's something that you learn, and it's based on experience, and it's based on how passionate you are.
Right.
you know so so I know myself. I know, I can stand there and watch you guys do it, but whoever, whoever was organizer, he's like, Roswell, we got to go back on this contract, bro. Yeah, you can't be dripping on the place. This is not,
I
you
will.
know,
I will say this
yeah.
though. I will say this though because not a lot of people know this, and some people knew right afterwards because I told them, but not a lot of people knew. Like in that sequence of footwork, because I had everything like so planned out and stuff ready to go. Midway through, I kind of like I forgot a couple of the steps, and I was just like, oh crap. But in that same time frame, I don't think anybody noticed because I made it a point to just keep going because like it doesn't matter. Like you just kind of make do with what you can in the meantime, and then I was able to pick back up and just continue going. But and that's the thing that a lot of people have to realize is like even if you're doing something as far as social dancing or you're doing a performance, granted you have a lot of eyes on you, but you can't necessarily stop. If anything, what I like to tell a lot of people and a lot of my students that I've taught is if all else fails, you go back to your basic and then pick back up where you can in the music. That's the best way to put it. Because the second that you stop moving your feet is when you start to become like a deer in headlights. So you just want to make sure that at any point in time you are able to just keep your feet moving. That way you kind of like stay on time, stay with the rhythm, stay with the beat. And as soon as you get back to a place of comfort where it's like you're better in the song, it's like okay, now you can pick it back up and just keep going at that point. But and that's kind of I say this just to let people know that as artists and as
Mhm.
dancers, we are human. I know a lot of people look at dancers and everybody else like actors, basketball stars, football stars, baseball, WNBA, all that stuff as like just there's these like savants and they're otherworldly. But at the end of the day, they're just normal people just like us. They go through some of the same stuff that we do. But at the same time, they got to make it a point to just keep on, like keep moving your feet, keep walking forward, because at some point in time you're gonna get back on your feet, and once you do, it's gonna be like boom, it's like you never lost.
Okay, okay. I just got to think about this before I wet my pants. I know myself, bro. Trust me, I know myself. Okay, so no, but thank you for explaining that to me. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to bring you guys on, all of you, so you guys can, visually explain these stuff to the audience. Because remember, the audience, they're just looking at you guys. They don't really know what's going on in your head, or like where you came from to actually do what you're doing. So by you, just like you said, like a good example, you explain, like, that it's just not, me standing there and looking at you and be like, I can do what you do. It's a lot, it's a lot for you. So, and So I respect you guys for doing what you guys do. Okay, sports. You just mentioned the sports stuff a few seconds ago. So let's talk about that. I know you love sports. I mean, most guys do and stuff. But when I was reading your profile, I was thinking about what stuff I should ask him.
Right.
And I saw all of these football like posters and like all of these like postings and like back and forth between you and your I think your family and your friend. So let me
Right.
ask you a quick question. Sports. How and I think I might know the answers to this. Did did the love for sports, which I know you have, did that somehow better molded you to do what you're doing now and dancing? Like how is it transparent? How is the sports? I mean, there has to be that like for me, for example, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because when I was younger, I'm way older than you, bro. I grew up with like Oprah and Barbara, in the '70s and the '80s. So, I knew some of the stuff they talked about that one day I'll be doing something similar to this,
Hmm.
So that's what molded me, So, but how did the love for sports molded you into the love of dancing?
That's actually a really good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before, and then because I don't think a lot of people put like those two together. It's like, oh, you're a big sports fan, you're also big into dance. Like I don't think most people kind of realize that because a lot of people know me for either one or the other. There's few that know me for like loving both. But um, I guess in that aspect, it in the terms of like just loving sports and loving dance, like I guess from that standpoint, it didn't take me long to get invested in it. Um, because once you kind of get that love for sports and stuff like that, it's kind of like it kind of grows and makes you into like somewhat of a different person, so to speak. Because like I said, people look at you as one way, and then they look at you when you watch sports and like that, and it's like a completely different entity and things of that nature. And then I feel like other people view me in that same light, like when I'm doing stuff in terms of dance stuff. So like you're getting three different people, I guess, in that sense. But when it comes to sports, this is something that I kind of figured out. I liked relatively young. I was big into basketball when I first started, growing up. Was always watching, the Lakers play, stuff like that. I got a Kobe Bryant shirt on right now, so to speak, and then a Los Angeles Chargers
Oh, I
necklace. So
love
that's
it.
it.
I love it. I love it.
In terms of my love for sports, um, it's ever like lasting. I've kind of met a lot of great people through that as well, in terms of like just high school and just when I got to college playing intramurals and things like that. You kind of meet a lot of different people, but I feel like in terms of like just the love for sports and love for dance, I guess if I had to intertwine them in a sense, it makes you realize how hard you have to work because there's always people that are going to be always competing and doing things, and you want to be sure to kind of like not fall behind. Um, Obviously, with sports and stuff, that you got like these pro athletes and stuff like that. You look at people in college and stuff like that; they want to get to the pros. I look at myself as a dancer, like I look at all these other wonderful artists that I've seen over the years, and you look at Tropical Jim. I know you were with Eddie Pellegro, I think yesterday, a couple days ago. I met him at ASB a few years back, and he's like one of my. He's an idol of mine, but I also look at him as a friend because he's done a lot of great things, and I love his energy and things like that. So I want to be able to kind of like keep in touch with him in terms of like what his energy and things are like that too. And then I look at another close friend of mine, Roberto Dextre, who is huge in the scene as well. I know he's kind of been uh, taking a break and stuff because he has a child and everything, but he's another guy that I've looked up to since I started dancing. But even with the sports stuff, it's like you kind of have that love for it, and it just kind of grows with you, and it kind of opens up so many different avenues. Like you have a lot of different fandoms, and I'm fans of a lot of different teams, and you kind of like look at dancing that same way. We have a lot of people that are big into dance. A lot of people love salsa, a lot of people love bachata, a lot of people love kizomba. Like you kind of get different aspects of dance and stuff, and I kind of look at that as sports. Like you have different people from different walks of life who you're gonna meet, and it's gonna change you in sense and make you like look at things differently because like, oh, I didn't realize kizomba was like this, or oh, I didn't realize bachata was like this, or stuff like that. So um, I hadn't really thought about it in that sense in terms of like the sports and dance intertwining because I'm like, you said that, and I'm like, that's actually a good question because I've never had that asked of me before, and somebody like you're the first one to do it, so I had to sit here and think what is the best way to kind of like combine my love for those and kind of how that makes me right now. But in that sense, I just say it as you look at it is it makes you they both want make you want to work that much harder to kind of like catch up with those that are above you in a sense, like your peers and things like that. You want to kind of match them, and you develop a love for it that you want to kind of be involved with it as much as you can day in and day out, whether it be like watching videos or actively getting into it or teaching or just watching a seminar on something in terms of like sports and answer later. You just want to kind of be involved with it as much as you can day in and day out.
Yes, I agree with the day in and day out, and I mean, I agree with everything you said. The reason I ask you these weird questions is that I be honest with you, I've never had a journalism course in my life, public speaking course in my life. I was super shy. I majored in psychology when I was in college,
Okay.
so I did a lot of research, writing. I was like an introvert, so I lived my life just like watching other people, television, magazine. Don't talk, I don't, but I just observe, and then I'm like, let me just do something that they are not doing.
I will agree with you on that because in a lot of I know a lot of people don't know this about me. But before I actually got into dance stuff like that, like when I was in high school before I got to college and things like that, I wasn't as extroverted as a lot of people think I was back in high school. Like I kind of in high school, I kind of kept to myself. I had my group of friends. I did my extracurriculars in terms of like sports, the clubs and things like that. And I went home, did my homework, and just chilled every now and then. I got to college and it's like there wasn't many people that were from my hometown. I think it was one other person from my hometown that
Hmm.
went to the same college as I did, and I didn't find that out until like towards the end of my freshman year.
Hmm.
But at that point, I noticed I'm like, there's a lot of people here that I don't necessarily know. I can kind of become a different version of myself. So as I started to kind of take notes of like other people around me and who I started to meet and things like that, I realized that I could kind of start to blossom a lot more and
Hmm.
become this brand new person almost that nobody's ever seen. And as soon as I got into that, it kind of started to take a life of its own. But even so, before that, before I started dancing, like I said, I kind of had to develop that charisma, that courage, that I guess that moxie that a lot of people see in me nowadays to be able to kind of like do what I do now in terms of dance. Because obviously when I first started dancing, and I would think this is anybody, you are a little bit apprehensive, you're a little bit shy because you don't necessarily know what to expect. Um, like there's always that fear of rejection, and you don't necessarily know anybody and things like that. I'll tell you what, the one of the best things I've loved about myself in terms of dance is when I first started, I just went out and just did it. Um, I was bored one day in my dorm room at the fraternity house, and I was just kind of just relaxing. I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw that they were doing free salsa classes, and I said one day I'm gonna just go. I didn't necessarily tell anybody. I just said, "Screw it, I'm gonna just go." And I kind of started to just kind of pick that up after a certain amount of time, and I grew to love it. So I would say that that's one of the best things that I've loved about dance is I was able to kind of just do it. Nobody really told me, like, "Hey, are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like, I just went. And once I got bit by that salsa bug, it was just like, yeah, I'm here. So
Well, I'm happy you shared that with you. I mean, in my other interviews, I kind of told people like one of the many reasons I got into this. Mr. Jenkins, like many years ago, you would not even catch me listening to a non-English speaking radio station. Every music that I listened to in my life has to have been something that's in a dictionary, something that I research, or something that I've heard. If I didn't
right.
understand a language or a word, then I'll be like turn the music off. But guess what happened? I dated I dated someone from the DR
Okay.
because let me see, let's see. I Before I met that person, I was desperate for love. You know what I'm saying? Like you see your guy friends walking with their girls, they're married, they got kids, and then you look at
Hmm.
yourself in the mirror and you're like, I just gotta pick up the first person I see and get it moving, you know? And that's what I did. And someone told me a long time ago, be careful what you wish for. 'Cause when it happens, oh boy.
Hmm.
Anyway, So I was in a relationship for 8 years. Very bad. Bad, bad, badder than badder. I lost my job, lost my family. I stopped socializing. I was miserable. I began cussing. Someone like me. I mean, it was like I don't know. It was like I was not cool, man. Trust me, I was not. And then when I broke up, I almost said, that's it. There's no point of living because I was, in my 40s. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have children yet. I'm going to another job. Like criticism, criticism. And I said the best thing to do is just like go up there and hang out with Jesus, Mary, and the rest of them.
Mm.
And all of these thoughts going in my head, and I said, hell with psychology, hell with being educated, hell that I've got my master's and so. And I said, that's it. No one will want me anymore. So before I decided to end it that one fatal night, I don't know what happened. Something told me to go to a bachata dance festival, right? Just do what I got to lose. I was about to like end my life that night. What do I have to lose? So I decided to brush my teeth, put some gel in my hair, put a shirt on. It wasn't really clean 'cause I haven't done laundry in a long time because I fell into depression. And I entered my first bachata social. I don't know if it was in New Jersey or in New York. I forgot. But I just popped in. Now, let me remind you, I don't speak Spanish. I know hola and adios. And I didn't know who Romero was, Everton too. I had no idea who these people were. I just walked into the dance floor, and before you know it, I have a bachata platform called Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that music saved me not only from a broken heart, but from ending it. So after the social was over, I realized that there's so much more I can do on this planet. Why end it right now? I mean, I can create a platform for 2,800 of the world's greatest dancers. I can put them live with me. I can go get my doctoral. I can travel the world. I can go to Texas. I can go to Miami. I can go to Atlanta. I can so much more I wanted to live for.
Right.
And then I realized there's more to life than a broken heart. And what I realized also is not good to force stuff because there's a reason, no matter what religion or spiritual meanings you believe in or don't believe in, things happen for a reason. It may not happen for your reason, but it happens. And you just have to go with it and just trust yourself and let it be. And that's
Right.
what happened. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I don't cuss. I mean, God knows I just cussed my mom up 2 minutes ago, like I normally do at 8 p.m. before I go live. But my point to you is that, and to everyone, is that try not to force stuff, let things be, and be open minded. Just because you don't speak a different language, somebody looks different from you, they're older than you, a different language, a different skin color, a different gender, a different ethno background, whatever. It doesn't mean you can't appreciate them. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I learned to love bachata, and that's one of the main reasons it's called Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Not cool folks who like to bachata, cool folks who love to bachata. Okay.
Right.
All right, I know I'm going off I'm going off the interview here like I normally do. Now, do you see why social media is on my back for like going over an hour with you guys? Because it ends up you guys are interviewing me instead of me interviewing you. Okay, so
I
let's
say,
get back on
look,
track.
it's your
Okay,
platform. I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
so, so anyway, and you remember your girl. Remember, I don't want to get her mad. I don't want to be like, you talking to that crazy man again? Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so family. So you come from a big family.
Right.
Your brothers, your sister. It was like the Alabama version of the Brady Bunch. I mean, what you make the sixth child? It's siblings, five siblings you have, right?
No, 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 no. So I have a lot of people that I claim as like my blood, my brothers. They're not biologically my brothers. I just claim a lot of people as my brothers. But For me personally, I am the oldest of three. I have two younger sisters, and that's pretty much it. I'm my mother's only son, so I kind of have that fortune as being my mother's only son and her oldest child at that same time. So it's just me and my two sisters, and that's that. As far as siblings is all I have.
Okay, hold on for a second. Sorry, too many mosquitoes. You
You're
gotta
good.
step inside. Hold on for 1 second, please.
No problem.
Sorry about that. These mosquitoes are like biting me like crazy, so I gotta step inside.
Trust me, I get it. Being in the South, they something else. So
Sorry about that. Okay, let me get some lights here, and we can continue this.
all right.
Sorry, I was trying to be cool man who loves not to get bitten by mosquitoes, but that didn't work out. You know. So anyway, okay. So sorry. Continue what you were saying.
Yeah, no. It's primarily like I said, just me and my two sisters. Those are all the siblings I got. I have a lot of people that I claim as my brothers because they pretty much are brothers to me. Haven't, I don't have any, so it's just a blessing to me to be able to claim a lot of my friends that I know for a while that I'm able to call brothers. But otherwise, it's just mainly me and my two sisters and a lot of nephews. So
That's great. That's great. That's great. Were there like many like support? Like, did you have like a lot of family support and stuff? Like when you were entering the dance world?
um, from the family, yeah, I will say like it took me it was like when I first got into it, like seriously, a lot of them looked at it as like, okay, all right, that's actually pretty cool that you're able to get into this. And then I think a lot of the support came from just a lot of the salsa and bachata community that we have here in Huntsville, and then even going forward just around the world. Um, a lot of people just kind of cheering me on and stuff like that. And I will say the one of the best moments that I've had in terms of being able to dance with family was in 2016,
Mhm.
where it was before Atlanta Salsa Bachata Festival was in Atlanta. It was in Huntsville called the Rocket City Latin Festival. Um, but obviously, it got so big it moved to Atlanta. I was fortunate enough to be able to dance in front of my mother, my grandmother, and my granddaddy at the time, and being able to perform in front of them. And also, I had a couple of my friends um, in the audience as well as a couple of my fraternity brothers that were helping volunteer. So at that point in 2016, it really was a big year for me in terms of dance, just being able to do that and perform in front of a lot of people that were close to me. And they could kind of see the vision and see like the excitement and the happiness in my face when I was on stage and stuff. Because
Mhm.
not a lot of people necessarily see what I do in terms of dance, in terms of my friends and family, because I'm doing so much stuff and they'll see like videos and stuff afterwards. But for them to be able to see it live and in person, I'm like, that made me like the happiest ever in terms of dance because I've been doing it as long as I have, and I can't really say anything less about that. Like I said, that 2016 was a big year for me, and like I said, that was only like my second year in it, and it was huge to be able to do that in front of them.
Okay, that's fabulous. That's great. Yeah, the reason I was asking because I know, my parents when I was younger, I mean they did support me, but they were like, you're gonna go get a college degree whether you like it or not, or zit. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean like I need to shave? No, son. It means it. I'm like, oh, okay. So all that dance and stuff, I had to like repress.
Right,
There's a reason I majored in psychology. I had to repress the love for that, and then bring it back up when they're old and gray and they can't say anything.
right.
So no, but yeah, I mean that's great. There's all because I would say when you have support, friends, family, or stuff, it makes life a little bit more easier in your career as well.
Mm,
So sorry about the music. It's a lot of people are passing by, so I just heard a little salsa stuff. Okay, so let me ask you some other stuff here. Let's see. Um, let's check out one of these videos. Um, and okay, this video is cool. Like this video is super cool. Okay, I'm gonna share this with everyone so they can see it. Okay, hold on for 1 second. Share screen. This is super cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the shirt. Okay, you see that
Ah, yeah.
video? Let me put some sound. So let's maybe. Let's look at it one more time. I like that. How you turn. Wow, Rico Suave. I like that. I like that. Oops, sorry. Let me put some. Right, sorry about that. Okay. So, right. I don't have like a backup here. You know, like I'm my own cameraman. So when the music's just anyway, anyway, I'm a one. Okay. So, but I like that. I like how the how you did the turn and like you didn't like really turn her into the wall, like when I turn girls like. like I turned them. So I'm like, you guys, you want to dance with me again? There's a reason they say, I'll let you know, Roswell. But I like how you did your focus and you turned right back, like you pivot your, when I had dance class when I was in Miami, and I was trying to master the spin and stuff because like every time I spin, like I get a headache. Since I was a child because I'm like they say when you're low on iron, you could so. And I asked my instructor like, how are you able to go like zzz, and not like fall down? He said you just gotta when you turn, just try to focus on one thing and just keep still, and then somehow you're telling your mind that you did not spin or something. So when you did that spin, like how did you manage to like spin right back on track, like without being like, hey, woman, where did you go? You're back here? Like what? Come back.
Uh,
How come you did not do that?
I will say spinning or turning is like one of the things that you try to get down as quickly as you possibly can, but you want to make sure you have a good concept of it. Spotting is always the biggest thing. Anytime I'm teaching, I like to tell people that even in level one dancing, when you spot, it helps a lot when you're spotting something, or if it's not even your partner, just something in front of you. So the I'm assuming most people know it, but for anybody who doesn't, like the concept of it is like you're turning, but at the same time your body is turning, but your head is the last thing to turn around, but also the first thing to
Mhm.
come right back around to kind of get those spins in order. So you'll see on the dance floor a lot of times when you see a lead spinning a follow like multiple times, but she's spotting like crazy to make sure she's able to kind of like keep um that balance as well. So spotting is always a big thing in terms of being able to spin and turn fairly well, and it does take a little bit of time to kind of get a good grasp of it. If you don't do it right, you're gonna feel dizzy and your stomach's gonna feel a little bit queasy at some point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I remember one of the first times I started doing dance, when I was on the dance team and we did spotting drills. It was Shanae's. It was rough because I hadn't done it before, so I'm like, I'm not feeling well. I got to go to the bathroom, and just kind of like you kind of it takes a minute to get down, but once you do, it makes things a lot easier in that aspect of dancing. And I like to tell a lot of people that it's like if you get spotting down, it's gonna make a difference. It may take a minute, but it is gonna make a huge difference in the end. So, and then just looking at that dance as well. That was back when I was in Minnesota, back in June.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
was with Charmaine, who is based out of Dallas, who was a phenomenal dancer. That was at Sean
Mhm.
Harris's event. It's called Dancing with the Stars. Basically, with that was he had brought in a few dancers from around different parts of the U.S. It was like, hey, I want you to come in. to Minnesota this weekend and to kind of like act as a star and dance with a lot of the people that we have here in the scene. And I was like, say less. Like I'm all here for it. It was definitely a fun time as well. So when he reached out to me, I was honored, and it was an exciting time because I got to meet up with some people that I hadn't seen in a while. Summer Kane, who's in Michigan, and then Reba, who's in Chicago. So I hadn't seen them in a minute, and then I met Charmaine and a few other people there as well. So that was definitely a fun time, and it was an experience as well, just being able to get in that scene and just meet a lot of those people there. So definitely a good time.
Now, speaking of Dancing with the Stars, I love that photo. The front cover I posted today
Right.
to do the announcement. I mean, you look super sharp. You look like you just look like you're just walking home with the Oscar awards. No, you look. You know when you go up there, you get that award, and you look good. You look pretty. You say your speech, and I'm like, I'm out of here with my award. You know. So, but you look like you're walking down the stage like, yes, I did it. You know. So I like that photo. Let me try to pull it up so everyone can see it. A good shot. Okay. Here's one of it. Okay. So let me just share this with everyone because I love it. I love how you got all dressed up. I used to work in retail, so after working in retail for like 9 years, I'm used to noticing how people get dressed.
Right.
So I like it. So let me just pull it up real quickly. Okay. Um. Okay. Here we go. Now, in the middle, bro, you're like, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 hot chicks like, all around. You're like, all right.
I'm gonna say this much: when Sean put up the flyer and the poster and stuff, like for one, I wasn't expecting to be in the middle for one of them. I figured he made a couple, but when I saw this, I was just like, damn, like I couldn't help but to be like, that was good. That was really really good. I loved it. I was like, heck yes, this is awesome. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I'm like, I applauded Sean. It was dope. But when he was asking me to send photos to kind of work with the flyer. I don't necessarily have like set dance photos that I have. I know there's photos that people have taken at congresses and stuff like that, but I haven't done like an official photo shoot and like a dance outfit. Be like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna send you this photo. I sent him a few, and this is from like a fraternity. Like it was an alumni event that we had. And I'm like, I like this picture, so I'm like, hey, it'll work for the poster. So it was a nice one to send, like, and just when you send the flyers out and stuff like that, I was like, I feel pretty damn good just looking at this right now. So I'm gonna cherish that picture for a minute because it's a great one though for sure.
Oh my God, bro, you're funny. Yeah, stare it for a minute. I'm looking at it. I'm blocking you out, and I'm just looking at the 4 chicks, and I'm having Roswell fantasies. So, it's a beautiful photo. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's well done. I'm all about photos and stuff. Because when I was younger, I never really got into like photos and Photoshop and graphics and that. So every time you guys post stuff like this, I'm like, it's amazing. And I always like to give credit to the people that actually help you guys put this together. You know?
Sean Harris out of Minnesota. He's the one that did all that. So shout out to him and the whole scene up in Minnesota. So yeah, they're doing good stuff up there. And then to the girls in the flyer as well, you got from left to right, you got Charmaine, Summer, Nico, and Reba, like all phenomenal dancers who I danced with that whole weekend, and I give them all the credit in the world. They're all great dancers. I know Reba does great stuff in Chicago with her dance company. Summer's doing great stuff in Michigan as well, and then you got Nico and Charmaine who are doing some awesome things as well. So I give them all the props in the world. They're phenomenal dancers, and if at any point in time down the road anybody sees them, I highly recommend asking them for a dance because they are awesome. So.
Yeah, yo, please ask them to join my Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata Facebook if they're not on it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I came up with a great idea. Maybe I can interview them. It's not a bad idea. All 4 of them together. And I want to, I want them to tell me each what was going on in their heads when they took that and you were there and you're like, yeah, like I got it, Jesus, I got it. So, but I love that, bro. I love that. Every guy on this earth loves that picture. You know, it's great. It's great. Now, let me ask you something about your fraternity days. You mentioned it.
Oh
You
boy.
mentioned it just now, 2 seconds ago. You
Oh
said,
man.
so okay, this is a good time.
Yeah.
So, but that might be another interview. That's going to take like 8 hours. No,
Nah.
but okay. So when I pledged, I was trying to do a fraternity stuff when I was in college. It didn't really work out because, the pledge brothers, they used to call me like at 2 a.m. and say, come on over and do like a pledge or a rehearsal or whatever. I'm like, what, for dying? No, Roswell. It's just part of the stuff. I'm like, do we have to do it now? I'm like, I just, washed my jerry curls and, I don't look appropriate and I didn't shave. Roscoe, come on over now. Right? Like, come on over. They're asking me to sing a song. I said, how about if I add some like Madonna and, Whitney Houston to the lyric? Just to make it more diverse. What? Bro, you better sing this song. I'm like, no, you better sing. So anyway, to make a long story short, fraternity stuff did not work out for me. It only lasted for like less than 2 weeks, like literally less than 2 weeks. But you managed and you stayed with it. And I know with fraternities, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. There's always in the news and media, it is what it is. But there are good outputs of it.
Hmm.
It really enables a young man to stay a young man and to be professional, be courteous, be all of that stuff. So like, what's going on in my head? The positive stuff about pledging and fraternity. How similar to the sports question I asked you a few minutes ago? How has your experience in your fraternities days? Do you think most of those skills have been attributed to your dance techniques? I mean, do you feel like? I mean, let me reword that. Do you feel that most of the aspects you learn, maybe innately, little psychology is involved here, unconsciously? Like for example, like me, I find myself doing stuff like I told you a few minutes ago. Like I grew up with like the people in the '80s and stuff. I mimic how they talk, Barbara and like Oprah and all that stuff. And sometimes when I talk to people, even my own mom, like I didn't sometimes I'm not me. I don't realize the tone of voice that I use, the questions that I
Right.
ask. I'm like, oh wow, that's me. So stuff like this, you don't realize what you do, but it shows in your personality. It shows in your career. You may not see it, but other people could. So that's the main reason I'm asking you the question. Now, you know. So how do you feel? Do you feel that those days in a fraternity was it's a great attribute to you being the man you are today with regard to dancing?
In terms of the man I am today as a whole, absolutely. Because when I first started to go out to dance, like when I told you earlier, I was scrolling through Facebook and stuff like that. I was literally on my tablet at the fraternity house in my room, just kind of chilling. And it's also helped me just in the sense that like I've had a chance to meet a lot of wonderful, wonderful individuals, and kind of help build myself up and help build that confidence and going out and just being that person that wants to meet new people. Like in fraternity, you constantly every year you're rushing to kind of get new guys to fraternity and kind of get them into the brotherhood. And I look at that in the sense of it was in the sense of dance. You could also just use that as well because, like I said, you're going out to just meet new people. Like you kind of just putting yourself out there is essentially what counts. You don't necessarily know these people, but you're just putting yourself in a situation like, screw it, let's just make it happen. And the same with the dance. Like I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Like let's make it happen. And when you go out there to dance to meet new people and other stuff like that, it kind of helps build your confidence up and stuff and things of that nature. Um, I was with it, until I left college, obviously. So it helped me in the sense of just being able to be around a lot of people and kind of learn how to build myself up, learn from my mistakes because at the times there are always going to be um, things that are going to happen, but you got to learn how to build on those and kind of keep yourself going.
Okay, okay. How to keep yourself going? Okay, you know what? When I had my interview yesterday with Ellen and Romel, like we ended the interview about like respect. Like when I was young, um, way back, before the bachata scene, like I was telling you about how I got into bachata. It was like typical. I can't say it. I had no respect for women. What I mean? I had respect, but I didn't have respect like I do now. So part of bachata helped me to realize good to be very respectful to women, especially when you're dancing to them. So I was a type, with like very childish, very rude. I'll be like, you're gonna dance with me now, or else I'm gonna wet my pants.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm trying to ask you is that fraternity, when even though I was at my stuff for like less than 2 weeks, I still felt like it was like a respect. It was a respect type of learning that I acquired. So to you, did you feel? I mean, do you feel that you learn to have a little bit more respect, not only for people in general, but for women? Did the fraternity stuff enable that? I know every fraternity is different, and I'm not here to like say anything bad or good or whatever. I'm just saying that, relating to you as a dancer and a man, and part of dancing, like you dance with every woman on this planet professionally as part of your job. But do you feel like if you didn't do the fraternity stuff, do you think you know he would not be? It has a lot to do. Your past has a lot to do with who you are,
Right.
man. So how did the
I,
fraternity help you to be more respectful to women?
I will say this. My mother and my grandmother put me in a good enough position to where I felt even going into college, I had a good amount of respect for women.
Okay.
I don't feel as though the fraternity like hindered that at any point in time.
Okay.
If anything, it added on to it.
Mhm.
But I knew from an early age, my mother and my grandmother pretty much raised me well because growing up, my mother was a single mother for a majority of my life.
Okay.
And for the longest period of time, it was her and my two sisters. So it's like you grow up in a house full of women, you're gonna learn how to. I would imagine, at least hope so, that you learn to have that respect for them 24/7.
Mhm.
And that was the case. Like you want to make sure that you kind of have that embedded in you from the get go. So, like I said, when I got to college and going into the fraternity things like that, I didn't feel as though the fraternity was gonna hinder me having respect. Like I said, it made
Mhm.
even more sense for me to kind of help, amplify that more and have even more respect for women. And even
Mhm.
going into the dance, like you go into bachata, like you have to make sure that you have to be have nothing but the utmost respect for them, especially when it comes to like depending on who you as that urban or sensual type of bachata. Like you don't want to go into this dance expecting to like do 20 body rolls and the lady's gonna want to be close to you. You kind of have to have a, a a feeling out process, like
Mhm.
initially in the song, or just kind of like in the first few 8 counts of the dance, kind of get that idea. It's like, okay, maybe I can do certain things because not every follow is gonna want to necessarily dance close to you. And if that's the
Mhm.
case, then that's fine. But you have to be able to respect that at the end of the day. And if you don't, that's gonna make it extremely difficult for leads, any lead to want
Mhm.
to dance, to be able to dance with a follow. Because if you don't have that respect for them, people talk. People are going to talk in this world, especially dance. Like I said, you do something at one festival or another, and people are going to talk about it because a lot of people know people. So if you
Oh yeah. Whew.
make an add to yourself at a festival, people are going to talk about it. They're going to look at you funny coming in next time they see you. Like, oh, he's the one that did this. He's the one that did that. Like, you have to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable when you're doing anything out there in terms of dance. So
That's a good point, and I'm happy you mentioned that because I want to make this is a good time to make a public announcement about this. A lot of people are telling me, well, okay, I'm single, so a lot of people are telling me, we don't get you. Why you're single? You have one of the world's greatest bachata Facebook with the most gorgeous female dancers on this planet. Roswell, what is your problem? You can go out with any one of them, call them out, go dancing with them. They know you, they see you, you're talking live. What is your problem? Mr. Jenkins, exactly what you say. That's the thing that I gotta remember every day. Because now that I'm in social media, my mom says you're a celebrity. So I'm like, really? You didn't tell me that when I was born. What the hell? She's like, yeah, you're so like, you got to be careful what you say, what you talk, how you approach people, even how you dress. But I got to work on the dress part. But that is something that's a serious topic, and I think with anyone who manages a Facebook or dancer or something like you just say, because people do talk. I mean, people always talk as part of life, but and that's one of my concern, Mr. Jenkins. That if I, there's a lot of times I say like a beautiful hot chick, and I'm like, okay, but then again, I'm like, wait a minute, take it one step at a time. I'm going to see her again the next time, and blah blah. And there I am, missing out on a relationship that could have been good, and there she found somebody else. And I'm like, damn, so how maybe some good advice you can give me here, like how, I mean, like how can people in the dance world, still still be themselves, still be cool man who loves the bachata, but then again, don't want to miss out on something that could have been really great. You know what I'm saying? And I'm asking you because you're in it. I mean I mean you're an instructor, you're a leader, you've seen stuff, I mean you know people. I mean, so if I'm going to ask anyone advice, it's going to be from Mr. Jenkins.
Um, I will say one of the things, and I saw this on an Instagram page. The Instagram page was the Salseros. They've been doing a lot of great stuff in terms of doing interviews and stuff like that as well. So I would definitely check them out. And they were doing this interview with this follow. And they were asking like, what are some things that you dance etiquette tips that you would have for like people in the dance world? And one of the things that one of the girls said was like, when you go up to ask a follow to dance, like that's one of the things you actually ask them to dance with you. Don't just kind of grab them and say, "Hey, we're going to the dance floor." That's just one thing because I feel like there may be a lot of leads that just want to go out there and ask them and just dance with somebody, and they'll just be like, "Oh, I'm just grab her hand and go." Like she may be in the middle of a conversation, she may be like tired and just got done dancing and stuff like that. You can't necessarily do that. Like, be sure to ask them first. If they say no, then that's fine. You just all right, that's fine. You kind of keep it moving and go to the next person. But that's one big thing is like make sure you ask. Don't just assume that everybody wants to dance because there are a lot of times where people just want to take a break or they're just kind of sitting down. Whatever it is, that's fine.
Mhm.
Um, Another thing is just be mindful of like what you say and what you do. And this is just in general because a lot of people like they go to different events, socials, weekenders, things like that. They kind of just act any type of way, and I'm like, I don't necessarily know how a lot of people do that because a lot of people that go to these different events, they drink, whatever, have fun. I feel like that is one of the things that I feel like is a dangerous slope to be going down. Like I said, I know some people drink to have fun. They get loosen up a little bit, go dance, have a good time, but just don't necessarily going out here getting belligerent and making a fool of yourself and drinking until you can't feel anything anymore because that's like I would kind of stay away from that. And another thing I would just say is just go out there and just kind of be yourself and have fun because you will attract the right people that you should. Um, if you're just kind of out there being yourself and just kind of having fun and just being this lively person, then I feel like it's gonna be smooth sailing. And like I said, I say this for anybody out there because a lot of people, it does take a lot of courage to be able to do something like this in terms of dance because you are putting yourself out there. You don't necessarily know how people are going to react, what they're going to say, what they will do. But the fact that, and I say this to any dancer, that we as dancers, us putting ourselves out there to do something like this is a huge step. And I say that for anybody else who's doing anything, just do not be afraid to put yourself out there because you never know what may come of it. Like I'm sitting here 9 years ago in my dorm room, not necessarily knowing what's going to happen, and now I'm sitting here today doing an interview with with you on the Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. And you would have if you told me that 9 years ago, I'd have been like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what I'm doing. Like I'm barely getting my basics down and doing a right turn. You think I'm gonna be doing this 9 years from now? Like I wouldn't have been able to do. I don't think I'd have been able to comprehend that 9 years ago. But here I am, and it's been a fun ride. So
I mean, I'm happy you said that. Thank you. I'm blessed that you say that. I mean, I didn't, thank God I didn't like end my life that night. When I was depressed over a broken heart, because you would not be talking with you would be talking with cool man who loves to salsa or somebody, or cool man who loves to. There would not be a cool man who loves to bachata, because I would have been like up with Jesus and Mary. But I'm happy you said that, because it's amazing how life is. Because like, you would not, you didn't imagine 9 years ago you would be here, and I would not imagine I would be here. And that goes to show that it's good to, like, it's one of those, it's like one of those scenarios like college. You graduate with this big degree, you didn't find a job yet, but you will. But it's going to happen. Like, oh God, how can I say it? It's like air. you know Air is in front of us. I'll never forget this example from high school. um, the question is that, do we see air? That was my high school professor. He asked all of us in chemistry class. I'm like, I guess I didn't think about that. I think I didn't even know air is air. I just know it makes me live. And he got us thinking, especially me. He's like, Roswell, just because you don't see something in front of you, it doesn't mean you can't respect it, or you can't absorb it or learn from it, or just because you know the complete the, what your answers are not there yet, it doesn't mean you should go the wrong way or forget about it. Sometimes you just have to follow that instinct, or just follow what's in front of you, and just hope and that it's going to lead somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Or something like
Mhm.
the like Dorothy on a brick road. He had a brick road. You don't know how far it's going to be, or where, or whatever, but you just know it's the right way to go, or the right thing to do, or something. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just that, with the thing about, I asked you about respect, what I just said about ear and everything, and you know being mindful when you're on a dance floor, especially you're a man, is that, you may not have, not you personally, Mr. Jenkins, but it's just in
Right.
general, you guys may not have all the pieces together, in front of you, but believe me, the pieces are looking at you. Okay, so in
Right.
those scenarios, it's good to still continue that path, continue to plan, continue doing what you're doing, and then things just happen to find you, and it just, like my mom say, things just have a way of working out.
Definitely. Definitely.
I know I've been watching too much Dr. Phil. I know, I know. People are like, I am old. I know I'm old. I can't help it. I'm old school. Look how I dress. But seriously, respect is important, and that's the problem I had, and rejection. A girl said at first, when I started the bachata world, it was about rejection, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, you rejected me? What? Am I not black enough? Like what's up with, what do I need to do to prove to you that I got what it takes? So but I learned, I am part black, as everyone knows. I learned that, just be respectful, just be real, be true, because it's a professional environment, and ask, don't grab, that be like, ask the woman, But just so everyone knows, I'm so cool. So a lot of women, cool folks know me by now. So they know when I grab them, they're like, Roswell is a nice guy. We're not gonna slap him yet. You know, he's a nice guy. But yeah. But Mr. Jenkins, let me ask you a quick question. Oh my God, there's so much I want to ask you. Let's see. We covered the photo. We covered the two videos. What did we not cover here? Let's see. Let's see. We covered. Oh, I see something dirty. Mm-mm. Is your grandma there? Tell her to go to bed. This is a good time to turn it off.
Oh my god.
Here we go. You ready for this? Facebook is gonna love this. The ratings are gonna
Oh,
go up tonight. Check this out, everyone.
Facebook is something else.
Check this out. Your glasses are gonna pop out. Okay, here we go. And I got something to share with everyone. Okay, let's see. Mr. Jenkins, do you remember this? No, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, this favorite quote here. Okay, I'm gonna read it out here. Okay.
I'm about to say, my eyes are bad, so
Yeah, I love the quote here. I'm not even. Could everyone see this? I guess. I mean, let me make it a little bigger here. I'm sorry. I have bad eyesight. How's that? Do you think that's readable, Mr. Jenkins? Everyone can see. I love this quote. Um, okay, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt wrote that? All of that?
I,
That that's a lot.
I'm
That's a lot.
honest with you. That quote has been on my Facebook for forever, and I forgot I even posted it. The fact that you found it, I'm
It's
like,
either that or those little like diaper pictures. I'm just kidding. I'm just
no.
kidding. I'm just kidding. No, no. But seriously, that's a good quote. I just came across that, man, and it's a lot. So those are strong words. Like if you notice, I was embarrassed to read some of those stuff because it's like very academic. It's very literate. It's very Um, I don't know, man. Like how has that helped you in a dance world, or maybe before the dance world? I mean, I that's a
To
lot.
be honest, I can't remember when I put it up. It might have been in high school, it might have been in college. I'm not 100% sure. It's been
Okay.
stuck there, and I haven't touched it since. But
Um,
um, just looking at it now, looking at this quote, it in a sense is making you realize that there are a lot of times where nobody's watching you. You have to be making it a point to put in the work. Because the people that get ahead are going to be the ones that are constantly working day in and day out. If you win, you win, because you tried. If you don't, if you fail, then at least you gave it everything you had. You can at least say that you gave it your all. You didn't necessarily just do nothing. Even in dance now, I look at it. Um, I've been doing this for 9 years. I've been lucky enough to teach for 5 of the 9 years that I've been dancing. And every day I look at myself and I'm like, how can I continue to improve? How can I continue to just become a better dancer? How can I continue to strive to be an inspiration to other people? Um, and in this quote, it's kind of speaking. I'm speaking it out loud essentially. Um, make it a point to do stuff day in and day out. Make yourself better. Don't give up, because the second you give up, it's like all that work was just for nothing. Like what was the point of putting in all the work if you were just gonna stop?
mhm.
And even in now, there are some other ventures that I'm doing with dance, and I'm looking to hopefully be able to execute here in the coming months and maybe within the next year or so. And it's all because I've made it a point to just keep going. I don't want to stop. I've been dancing for 9 years, and while at that point in time, like, you still want to make it a point to still take breaks every now and then to kind of keep yourself from getting burnt out. Don't stop learning. Don't stop executing. Just keep going.
Okay, that's words of wisdom. Okay, I mean, I found that interesting. Not many people have stuff like that, but that's and that goes along not only with dancing, but in general, with careers, relationships, family, friends. I mean, those are strong words. Very strong words. You know, and if anyone is cool, this guy is definitely cool. I like that. It's very knowledgeable. You know. Um,
I was young when I did this. So like I said, it could have been
mhm.
some years ago. It could have been in high school. I don't know. I just like the quote, and I just put it on my Facebook. It's like, I like this. Why not?
Yeah,
It was
sure. Sure. Wait, hold on for 1 second. Because I stepped in from outside and I didn't put the battery with me. So let me just plug this in so I don't lose you.
no, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay,
No problem.
so let's see, can we covered everything? Let's see. What advice do you have for children
Children?
like me?
Are you talking about just in terms of dance or just in general? I don't even know.
No, 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 no. Let me. Do you have for children who like to pursue the dance world? Like, let's say someone comes up to you and they say, "Mr. Jenkins, I would like to follow in your footsteps. I would like to be, the next greatest dancer and stuff." I mean, like when I was younger, like my parents were telling me, to put the dance stuff aside, and just focus on something real and whatever, but if a
Uh,
kid is really passionate about it, they're gonna do it. They're gonna leave home. They're gonna be like, leave their girlfriend for it. Well, no, maybe not leave their girlfriend. Sorry, that's a bad example. Okay, my point is that if they really want to do it, they're gonna do it, and
right.
they're gonna do it. And what are you gonna tell them, sir?
Um, Couple of pieces of advice. One, started young. Like that's one of the many regrets I have about dancing. I wish I'd have started doing it sooner, but I'm glad you had gotten into it when I did because
Mhm.
if you have the ability to do so, do it. Um, don't be afraid to explore different avenues in terms of dance. Whether it be salsa, bachata, whether it be hip hop, whether it be Afro, whether it be ballet. Um, don't be afraid to just tap into other dances because while you may necessarily have your favorites, there are other dances that you can incorporate into your favorite dance to kind of help you improve as a dancer. I've seen a lot of different things in terms of like salsa, bachata, and I'm kind of been doing my best to mix and mingle some of those. And then with the small background and ballroom that I have, I want to be able to kind of like implement. If I could talk, this would be great. Implement some of those other aspects as well to be able to get better in my dance because you look at some of the best ones out there, they're not just doing just strictly salsa bachata. They're doing like different aspects of it, like Afro Cuban,
Mhm.
kizomba, just other stuff like that to kind of help be able to make themselves better and better.
Mhm.
And that's not to say that you can't necessarily just be dancing salsa bachata and you can't be great because you can. But those dancers that are like at the top of the top make it a point to just see where they can get in and like dip their toes in it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lot, just a little bit here and there, just to kind of get some inspiration. And you never know what you can create. So,
Mhm.
um, I would say that as well. And then asking for help. Obviously, there's going to be times where you don't necessarily know what you're doing, but if you can ask for help, just I say do that because that goes a long way and that can open up doors that you never thought imaginable. And at the end of the day, don't lose sight of why you're doing it and have fun because I know a lot of people do this. Um, for the money. Some people do it for, they do it for the fame. But never forget the love of why you do it because you started out doing it for a reason because you love doing it. And you saw other people doing it, money stuff like that. There are times where I go back and look at myself every day. Like to the first few days I started dancing, I'm like, I've come such a long way. And if I can look back at that 22-year-old Ricky Jenkins right now and tell him like, hey, in 9 years you're gonna be doing this. Um, Keep it going and don't stop dancing and realize why you did it. I did it because I love it. I did it because I wanted to do something different. But at the same time, you never really know who you're going to inspire to do what. That's always like one of the things I love about dance. Like there's a lot of inspirations that a lot of people out there that have inspired me, and I'm hoping that I can be that same type of person to be able to inspire others to do this. Like because like I said, somebody might be watching you. Somebody may be watching me in like 10 years from now. They're off and running, doing great things, and they message me and be like, "Hey, I did this because you inspired me." So it's amazing in that feeling as well. You never know what you're gonna be able to accomplish as well.
Yes. This is one of the reasons I consider you my nephew because you speak the words of wisdom, man. It's like I feel like you came from my blood. I mean, like you're part of my
Right,
membrane.
right.
You're part of my, you know, Roswell body.
Yeah.
What. Anyway,
The family. I got
yeah,
you.
you're like you speak. You're so smart. I mean, everything that I put in a post saying, young and enthusiastic, loyal, smart, keen. You're beyond. I mean, I put some. I wanted to put more stuff there, and it just, you are. You're very. You talk with knowledge. You're not your typical young dancer. You know what I'm saying? You talk as if you've been out there for many years. So
You
I
say
respect
young,
it.
I don't feel it. I like I'm 31. I don't necessarily feel it. People look at me as like you're only 31. I'm like surprised. I don't know what to tell you, but I've been dancing for the better part of 9 years, going on 10, and like I know a lot of people that have been doing this longer than me, or maybe even not as long as me, that still have a lot of wisdom too. So I feel like I've been able to kind of like get different aspects from different people that I've known in the dance world, and just kind of like pulling from them and kind of making my own perspective on dance. So I I attribute that to a lot of other people that have done this before me and after me, even as well.
No matter what you say, you're still my nephew. All right. You ain't talking your way out of this, okay? Yeah, okay. So let's move on here. Next question. Sorry, bro, you're stuck with me. Okay,
You're
so
good.
so the next question for you. Okay, so let's see. What did we talk about? God, we talked about a lot of stuff. Oh, I got a question for you. Okay, I got a super question for you. Um, it's a Saturday night. Okay, in a major city. Okay, it could be, I don't know, it could be New York, it could be Paris, Miami, Japan, I don't know, major city. Five people, five amigos. Okay, famous, big shot. They've been in the business for such a long time. They all are hosting the same their events in the same city within 5 miles of a radius. All right, they spend a lot of money, fortune, fame, and blah 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 blah. Okay, so here we go. You got John, you got Mary, you got Sue, you got Rashid, and you got Rohan. I don't know where I'm getting these names from. God. Anyway, the point is that the five friends, five amigos, they're going to host the event, and so they spend a lot of fortune and stuff. So people like you and I and everyone else, we got to decide. Okay, should we hang out here with John for 5 minutes, and then hop an Uber and go all the way down south for Sue's event? Stay there for like 7 minutes. I go all the way back up Nerd on my bicycle for Rashid. Hang out there for 5 hours. Then goes on and on. Before you know it, bro, you and I and my friends and your friends, we didn't get to dance with any hot chicks. You know, because it's we got to go to bed, and then we're doing it again next week, and it's the same BS and blah 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 blah. So my question to you is, how, if this was a perfect world and there was lots of collaboration and support, how could our five amigos have handled that? Or how could, moving forward, how could the dance floor better support one another? And the reason I'm asking you this is because when I ask everyone this question, I ask with intention that when you guys respond, people that are listening to you might take your advice, might take your ideas. Maybe one of them are listening to us now, and they will say, okay, whatever Mr. Jenkins is going to say, maybe let's try that. So Roswell don't go live again and talk about this. So what advice can you give to dance people on how they can better collaborate, support one another in a situation like that?
Biggest thing is because I know I've seen this before, not necessarily in my city, but I've seen it in other cities as well. First and foremost, you got to make sure that you're on the point of communication and making sure that that doesn't happen again. Because if you're all hosting on the same night, like as far
Mhm.
as events one night, that's nobody's communicating at all. And I feel like a lot of times people want to butt heads and it's like my event's better than this, my event's better than this.
Mhm.
Like to hell with all that, he said, she said nonsense. Like, look, at some point you just got to be able to put stuff aside and realize that at the end of the day, this is a dance community.
Mhm.
Um, and you don't want to be splitting hairs like, hey, I like this event, I like their event better than this because of X, Y, Z. Like, find a way to kind of like get a couple of y'all to do the same event, like collab on one night, and then the next weekend, two more y'all do a different event or something like that, and just make it a point to actually talk to each other and figure out what the heck is going on. And I know for a lot of people that might be difficult because pride. gets in the way. You don't want to be the person that says, "All right, I messed up. I did this." Like, to hell with all that. Just be adults. Be able to communicate and say, "Hey, how can we better put ourselves in a better situation so that we don't have this again?" Because I doubt people want to go to try to go to 5 different events in one night within like the same radius of each other, because that's money you having to spend on all these. No, no, I can guarantee nobody wants to do that. So ahead of time, communicate, put all the pettiness aside if you can, and just come together for one night and then go from there.
Okay. Okay. The reason another reason I asked that because I'm still kind of new with this, and I find my I'm not really a dancer or an organizer. I support you and everyone. I try my best to come to events mostly on the East Coast, and since I'm here, and I just feel kind of bad, that stuff that I see, and some of you guys like dish out a lot, like financially, and you got to give up your family and your friends for that Saturday night, and then the next day you guys go over your budget and your the feedback, and you guys realize, oh my god, it doesn't not working out. It didn't work out. But then again, you guys do it again next week, and then the following week. So I don't. So I just figured, it's part of the business. It's part of being, I don't know, macho. It's part of, I don't know. I don't know what it's a part of. So I'm just curious. Maybe it's just not. Maybe it's not a concern to even bring up in interviews. Maybe it's part of the business, or maybe there's something that I don't know. That I. But anyway, so I just want to, bring it out here. So if there are those people that are concerned about stuff that similar to what I'm concerned about, and because the economy is very bad, like right now. I mean, who would want to, be super macho and be like, what, I'm hosting this, you guys should come, and it doesn't matter if you guys come, I'm still going to advertise it and blah blah. So I'm just trying to be nice to everyone, trying to help all of you guys out, not just, you know, our five amigos, but everyone, you know.
Right.
So I appreciate what you just said, and I just hope your response is reaching out to whoever's out there that really needs the support and everything, you know. Something I feel I was gonna ask you, I feel like I ask you every. I mean, see, we talked about the family, we talked about sports, we talked about, your. Let's see, what did we not talk about? No, no, I'm just kidding. No, we're not lying. Talk to you about that when we're not lying. So Alabama. So you're in Alabama. I wasn't. I've been in Atlanta since November, but I came back to New Jersey because my mom, as everyone knows, I take care of my 80-year-old mom who has osteoporosis. She's not well, and I had to bring her back here to New Jersey to see her family. But I was in Atlanta since November, so she can see her family and stuff. And I got the opportunity while I was in Atlanta to visit some of the world's greatest events by the community of Atlanta, the dance events. So I was very astonished and proud of what I've seen. The dance community has grown tremendously throughout the state of Georgia. Good job, guys. Um, so Alabama, I kind of like maybe just passed it every now and then when I was going to Florida, what I never really, you know, but back in the days, Alabama was, I didn't feel like so okay or comfortable, like hanging out there looking like this 1 a.m. Going to a dance place at 1 a.m. Say, hey girl, you want to dance with me? But now things have changed. Things are more civil. Things are more the new generation. People are more organized and professional. So my question to you, young man, I mean young older man, is how, in your view, how has the dance scene expanded exquisitely in bachata in Alabama compared to back in the days? How has the dance scene expanded? Like, and what do you think helped contributed to that dance? And I just want to say, first of all, I know Eric Adonis, he did a great job expanding everything. And,
Yeah.
thank you, Eric, if you're listening. I admire you and stuff. But I also would like to know, what other stuff or that happened that help encourage that growth. And it's a growth. I mean, you know,
Right.
bachata dancing in Alabama, you would not hear about this like many years ago. So
I would attribute that to I know a lot to Eric. He's done a great job. I know when he brought the Rocket City Latin Festival here with all the art stuff like that. I feel like that was a big jumping point for a lot of people in Alabama because every time I tell people it's like I'm a salsa bachata dancer. They tell me where I'm from. They ask where I'm from, and I say Alabama. They're just like they do salsa dancing, bachata dancing in Alabama. It's always like a crazy look. It's like Alabama of all places.
yeah,
I'm like, don't disrespect my state like that. I can do that. You can't.
yeah.
But it has grown a lot. It has grown immensely since I started doing this about 9 years ago.
Mhm.
I know through the means of a lot of different people here. I know a lot of my good friends, Carlos Colon, Danielle Smiley, a lot of them. Gabrielle Gonzalez, who runs By the Huntsville here, she's done a great job in terms of like keeping it afloat as well.
Mhm.
With classes that are normally done Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the week and
Mhm.
things like that. They have their wine and salsa socials and things like that, and it's always great to be able to kind of have that to be able to go to as well. And then not even in just Huntsville, I give a huge shout out to Irene and Victor. They're down in Birmingham. They run Ivy Motion. They've been doing a lot of great things in their scene down there as well. And they got their teams
Mhm.
and all that, and they've done a great job with just their teams, and they've had a chance to kind of travel and do stuff as well. And I've had a chance to go down there and just kind of see what they do. And it's amazing and beautiful to see that Alabama has the scene that it does as a whole. And
Mhm.
you look at where everything has just gone since then. Like I said, obviously Huntsville's expanded as well as Birmingham, but to see the scene kind of still be where it's at right now is a blessing in itself. And you've seen a lot of people come and go. You've seen a lot of people that have stayed through the whole time, but it's always a great thing to see people because you're seeing that there is a new reach for people who want to continue to dance and just learn something new, whether it be for just a month, a year, 5 years, a week. It doesn't really matter. But to be able to kind of see people still coming out that are brand new who haven't done this before is always great to see because you're still making a point to get that reach out to them.
Okay, okay, that's great. Where do you see the dance industry going in the next like 5 years? The bachata industry, like where, like it's grown, man. It's like back in the days, it's like it wasn't such a big thing. Now, I mean, everywhere you go, like, my mom was just telling me that yesterday. Son, like this bachata stuff now, they're advertising it in the grocery stores and at the supermarket and the retail store. You got the shirt, the hat. It's growing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to you and your colleagues and stuff. But 5 years from now, do you think like this bachata mania stuff is like really
I,
gonna like how where do you see it going like in 5 years from now?
I do still see it as a point of expansion. I feel like it is going to continue to expand, and I'm attributing that to a lot of people that are here in the city in Huntsville, as well as the state as well in Birmingham, but also to myself, just because of how I see myself and how I want to be able to view bachata dancing as a whole going forward. And I want to make sure that if I have the ability to enable people to do this on a consistent basis and have a way to do it, I want to do it because I want to be able to have us do different things on different nights of the week. Like I know by the Huntsville and Gabby, they have their classes Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Thursday, every second and fourth Thursday, they got their socials, and then Saturday socials. Like I want to be able to kind of help do that myself, and seeing a lot of what Gabby and By Huntsville have done, and Victor and Irene have done in Birmingham with IP Motion, and just a lot of other people as a whole. I want to be able to set myself up to be able to do stuff like that going forward. So I feel like it's going to continue to grow, and people are going to still love it one way or another. Whether you're more of a traditional type of bachata dancer or you're more like the urban sensual, however you want to call it, but I want to be able to see people continue to do this and have a love for it like I do.
I feel it's gonna happen. I mean, it seems like it's happening already, and I think how that could happen, support. That's one of the main reasons I always bring up the support person because I think if that support stuff, those 5 people, really continue working on that, and we giving them support and stuff, I think that the future in 5 years for bachata will definitely happen in that way. Just thinking about it, I'm just thinking, for something to happen, it takes a lot of time and work. But when you are passionate about something, you love something, just like you said, you love something, and when you love something, things are possible in 5 years and beyond.
Right.
So it's great that you made that you made that clear, in your response, and I appreciate that. I appreciate what you just said. Okay, so it's almost 10 o'clock. I mean, did we break the history of talking for 2 hours? I know. Suave Beats. Let's see. No, sorry. You almost said Suave Beats and I. We talked. Let's see. Oh my God. Let's see. It was 8:15. We started at a little late. No, 8:30, 9, 10, 5 minutes before midnight. Was it 8? We talked a lot. Social media is like, I gotta start billing you, Roswell. You're using our platform to talk about what bedtime stories? What the? You know, so so I got a real. I can't help
So
it.
lose track of time,
I just
right?
made an announcement a month ago that, hey guys, guess what? We're gonna go 30 minutes or less, and what we're doing, we're going 30 days or less talking. So I can't help it. All right, guys. Huh. Cool man who loves a bachata. Kiss it up. Anyway, so anyway, no, but seriously, what are some major events that are coming up uh, that you would like to let everyone know about? And
Right.
I would like to know also because I mean, so I plan to come back down south after the summer and maybe come out to one of your events. So, what are some major, or a couple like stuff that the
Yeah.
dance floor should be aware
So
of?
Bailame, it's a festival's going on in Minnesota. It's going to be around Halloween weekend. It's October 26th through the 30th. Um, I know the guy I talked about
Mhm.
earlier, Sean Harris, is the one that's kind of putting it on, so that's going to be a fun time as well. The last time I went actually was in 2019. That was, before COVID came and kind of shut everything down for a little bit. But it's a very fun event. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people there, so that's going to be an awesome time as well. Uh, I'm also looking to hopefully go to Dallas in September. I think the Dallas Bachata Salsa Festival. I think I know they're doing a contest right now to see who can win a free pass if you can kind of put some creative footwork together. So I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring on that and kind of see what I can come up with, and hopefully I can win a free trip there. So we'll kind of play that out and see how that is, and then obviously we're looking ahead to next year. Atlanta Salsa Bachata Festival. March 7th through the 11th. That's going to be a fun time as well. So I would say keep your eyes locked in on that. They've already started to make some announcements of who they're bringing in. I know they have Chopper with them and Empire Mambo, so two of the bigger groups that a lot of people know about. So um, those are some events that I'm looking to go to and kind of be at. So be on the lookout for those. And then just other stuff that I got going on right now. Big thing is I'm looking to have a solo prep. This is going to be like the first time I've ever done a solo before. Because a lot of stuff I've done in the past has been team stuff. But I told myself I wanted to kind of take that next step and see what I can do in terms of doing a solo. So I've seen a lot of people before me do this, and I want to take my chance to see how this plays out, and hopefully have a chance to be able to do this at a few festivals and kind of get my name out there and let people know it's like, hey, I'm Ricky, I'm from Alabama, I'm
Mhm.
I'm here, so this is what we're gonna look at. And I didn't really think about this until just now. Like this is kind of marking like next year will be that 10-year anniversary that I would have been dancing. So I feel like what better way to mark off an anniversary like that in terms of doing this for 10 years and kind of debuting a solo and seeing how that plays out. So I'll say be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be one to look out for sure.
I think you should do it. Oh my God, bro! If I was in Alabama right now, I would just like give you a big hug. Do it. No, sir. I
Like
like
I've
it.
already gotten in touch with my boy Roberto. He's already helped me cut the music and stuff. So at this point, I've just been sitting down
No,
trying to
good.
figure out how to do choreo and what I want to do and different aspects of the song. And like I'm a perfectionist, so I want to make sure everything is dotting
You
on
know
my
what?
I's, crossing on my T's. So
You know what? Let me share something with you. A few years ago, when I came to New York, I went to a social. I think it was Brooklyn or whatever, and someone who didn't really know me that well, they came up to me. They say, you, man, you always in and out. I see you here. I see you there. You're not a spy. We know you're not a spy. We know you're not crazy. We know you don't have a bomb. So, what is it about you? Like, what's your deal? I'm like, I don't have a deal. I'm just coming and just, I don't know. It just maybe I just feel like it's the right thing to do. And then I thought about the question he was asking me, and then I said, okay, I think I know the real reason I'm coming because I like to promote people. And when I mean promote, not the rich get richer, but bring skills out from someone who really don't know they have it or they have it, but they need more influence. They need more support, and you know, when I was younger, I had that. I had that whether it was my family, the community, or stuff. I always had people around me that said, Roswell, we got you, and we got your hands, and keep on going, bro. Keep on going, son. Keep on going, friend. Okay? So, not the young ones nowadays, excuse my language, I feel like sometimes they don't really have it. There's a lot of distractions, Forgive me, social media, for saying it. You got the Instagram, you got Facebook, you got WhatsApp. There's so many distractions nowadays, and the economy, and like it's a fast life, and sometimes the younger ones they don't really know they have it, or they get discouraged. And so my job, I feel like, if I see talent in someone, especially the young one, I'm going to be like, hey, let me support you. Let me, see what I can do. I got a platform. Cool Photos de Bachata. Why don't we start there? Start sharing your stuff there so you become known to the world. So you can become known to yourself. Right, Mr. Jenkins? So,
That's a good. That's a
so
good point.
hearing what you just said, I'm 101, and that's what I'm so proud of you. We're ending the interview this way because that's one of the main accomplishments for Cool Folks Love the Bachata. This is the main reason I'm going live with you guys. In a posting on a flyer, when you guys posted stuff on my platform, I didn't know you were going to say. How could you put those in the words? I mean, think about it. I mean, you can't. But this is your opportunity to say it in words, right?
Right.
So by you saying it, imagine all the other young ones or even the older ones or whoever they're listening to and they say, okay, if you're gonna do it, then they're gonna do it. So you guys are really helping out people and you guys don't know about it, but you guys are, and this is the main reason I'm doing this. Right?
Yes. Sir.
I know. So I'm happy you said that. I want you to, follow up with me on this. If there's anything I can do, if I can help you with the promos or more, just share it. You know, God, man, my God, we got people sharing the same thing over and over, and the event ended 10 years ago. I mean, for you to share something that like this is like I don't mind. You can share it over and over, man. But please, congratulations to you, and I do it. Just do it. I got your back. All right, and everyone got your back too. Trust me. And if they don't, they got problems. Except with me. Okay. Anyway, no, but go for it, man. Your events, the stuff that's coming up, Halloween and next March and all of that stuff. Post it. You know that, right? You're more than welcome to post it, share it, and after the summer, I plan to come back down south. Hopefully, I can see you again, and I can come to one of your events, or if you're up in New York this summer, or by chance, if you ever come up this way, let me know. I can introduce you to some
Right.
super super cool people who are cooler than me. And yeah, so thank you. Okay, and I want everyone to know before I go, guys, we have a YouTube channel. You know, um, Cool Folks Love the Bachata. The tapings are there, the recordings are there. It's check it out. Check all the recordings I did with your colleagues, and I'm going to do in the future. So please subscribe. I'm going to begin sharing your postings there as well. Look into Instagram. I'm going to begin sharing postings there as well. And beginning in September, this is going to be like a weekly program, and I'm going to bring out members from Cool Folks and members from all over the world to give their perspective to the dance world. So it should be phenomenal. Okay, Mr. Jenkins, what are some last minute words you would like to tell everyone that's listening to you now? Besides that, Roswell is a cool guy. Besides that, okay, what else in addition to that you would like to tell him?
For starters, I appreciate you reaching out to me and having me on. This is a great opportunity to be able to kind of just do something like this. To anybody who's watching who is kind of thinking about dance and whatever, not even just dance, just in life in general, thinking about doing something, don't be afraid to just take the first step. You never know what's going to come from it. Um, a lot of great people in this world have started with just one step and they've gone on to do great things. So be on the lookout for that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And the biggest thing, whatever you do, just have fun. Um, don't forget the love of why you do things, and be sure to just continue to do what you love, though. But also be sure to take breaks because I say that with all the love in my heart. Because if you do dance as much as I do, or a lot of people done in the past, you have to be able to kind of like just take a break every now and then. Just kind of take like a week or two to kind of just reset yourself and kind of like not think about dance stuff, but just kind of have a chance to relax, not think about anything, and then get back in it. Because the worst thing that you can do is burn yourself out and to where you don't love it anymore. And I'd hate for that to be the case for anybody doing anything. So just be sure to pace yourself, listen to your body if it says, hey, let's kind of take it slow for a minute, and make sure you don't burn yourself out where you don't love it anymore. Because at the end of the day, you started doing something for a reason. If you want to continue to do it, be sure to rest every now and then, but don't stop asking questions at the end of it all. Because the more you ask questions, the better things you get, the further you go. I'm sounding like a philosopher. I don't know what I'm saying. That's kind of how I feel about it, though. So just be sure to ask questions. Don't burn yourself out. Have fun.
No, 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 you're fine. You're fine. You're just like my nephew, bro. You think like your uncle. Roswell number two. No, no, but I just wanted to say this real quick. I think I've already brought this up in one of the first, maybe the first or second interview I did back in after Christmas. I forgot who it was. Burning out. I wanted to read. Everybody keep asking me, Roswell, you're gonna go to this event tomorrow, right? And then you're gonna go to this event the next day after tomorrow. Then you're going to go to this event after that event. And I said, I don't want to lose the love of what I'm doing. I mean, let me just say that. I just want to say this for everyone. Um, um, yes, I have a platform, bachata platform. Yes, you see me dancing, but I try not to do it every night. Because I already got a job as it is, and I don't want what the I like my job. I don't love my job. It's the 9 to 5 job. The dance that I do, when I see you guys and I go to your events and whatever, I don't like it. I love it, and I'm trying to keep that scenario going. I don't want to mix the two. I don't want to keep dancing, 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 dancing every night, and then it becomes like a job to me, and then it's like I get burnt out, and I'm like I don't like it anymore, and then I decide to go, I don't know, belly dancing or whatever, or just. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I just got to work on my six pack. But the point that I'm trying to say is that it you know your boundaries, guys. Remember why you're doing it. Try to pull yourself back because it's so hard. There's a hot chick on the dance floor and the music keeps playing, and everyone's like, wow, you're the spotlight. But that's what it is. It's only the spotlight. When the music is over, you got to go back home to your life and then whatever. But all I'm saying is that try to have a balance. Remember why you're doing, why you're dancing, and if you try to find you know like a system so you can preserve that love for dancing. So I'm just saying that, so I'm happy you said that, Mr. Jenkins, because like I was struggling with that at first. When I first started the dance industry, it was like every day, every night. Then I'm like, oh god, I don't want to. Then I start complaining that, oh, I got to dance with another ugly girl again. Oh god. No, and then I said, wait a minute, what's wrong with me? I'm cool, man. Look, I can't be saying that. I mean, out loud. I mean, so you know, remember why you love what you love, guys. That's all I'm saying. Whether you dance every day, dance once a year, whatever, remember your reason. because there will be times where you would be tempted, to cross that line and you have to come back. So thank you for saying that, Mr. Jenkins. Okay, so it was nice talking to you, and actually, no, it was super nice talking to you. It was an honor, and thank you so much. And please tell all of my friends down south I said hello, and yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot.